Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thank you for joining me again for another wonderful vlog. Come get ready with me first, and then we'll jump back into this conversation. So today I really wanted to talk about self-care because I feel like it's something that's really important, and I do mention it a lot on my Instagram page, but it's something that we really neglect as women. I can't speak from a man's perspective because obviously I'm not a man. As of recently, I have not really paid much attention to myself and to my needs. You may have noticed that I've been really quiet on social media the last 2 weeks because I've just been so run down and so exhausted because I haven't been making time for myself. I draw a lot of my balance from nature, and as of recently I've been really out of balance with Mother Nature, and I haven't been paying much attention to her or giving her the time that she needs. I've been really out of touch with myself the last couple of weeks because I have been giving so much time to my family and to other avenues, uni, sport, and I haven't really made much time for myself. So my mental health has really suffered in the last couple of weeks because I don't know if it's just like a mum thing, but you feel so guilty when you do things for yourself if it's taking time away from your family. If I really need something or want something, I feel really guilty spending money on that if I could be spending it on my family. Now I don't go too like crazy with my makeup. Probably doesn't even fucking look like I put anything on, to be quite honest. It's really important to recognize the things that are putting you out of balance. I know for me, when I don't make time for myself, when I give too much to other people and not enough to myself, that's when I really become imbalanced. And I become really imbalanced when I don't make enough time to be out in nature. Yeah, I think it's important to know what makes you imbalanced and then try and find ways to correct that. My mental health has really been struggling and suffering for the last couple of weeks. I've been really run down. It's important to mention too that I'm due for my period, which also sets my hormones off so badly. I have the worst PMS symptoms where I have chronic fatigue. I find it really hard to make it through the day without drifting off to sleep. I have severe nausea, all day nausea from the time I wake up in the morning until the time I go to sleep at night, and this doesn't stop until I get my period. So yeah, I just feel like crap all the time. Like I'm not manifesting like this or anything, but I'm probably not going to feel better until I get my period, which is just a fact. Like that's just what happens to me. As mums, we really worry too much about putting other people first, and we completely neglect ourselves, like we don't feel like we're important. I am so quick to help everyone else first, and then I completely forget about myself. And then I think I've addressed this in a post before where it makes you feel really unappreciated, and it's not because other people are making you feel unappreciated. You feel unappreciated because you're not making any time for yourself. I can't speak from a dad's perspective. I do know that men get left out of this conversation a lot because they're really expected to just have all their shit together and to get shit done, and a lot of people act like that a man's feelings aren't as important as women's feelings. I don't know if that's everyone, but that's just the way I feel. And I feel like that's why there's a lot of mental health issues with, amongst our men, is because they're not made to feel comfortable enough sharing their problems. I know from my husband that he feels really vulnerable when he has to share his feelings and emotions, especially if he's feeling unappreciated as a father or a husband. I know that there is that "Are you okay" day, but I feel like you shouldn't just wait for one day out of the whole fucking year to see if your mates are okay. Like, ask them all the time. It's literally your strongest friends and your most outspoken friends that are struggling the most with mental health problems or just struggling in general. If you ask someone how they're going, most of the time people are going to say, yeah, I'm fine. Like, just give an automated response, I'm fine, how are you going? And and then the next person will reply with, oh, that's good. Because it's just automated. It's like you're not asking people because you genuinely care, you're just asking to make conversation. But I think it's really important that when you are having conversations, that every conversation is meaningful. Literally, a conversation can save somebody's life. Most people won't tell you how they're going because they don't want to open a can of worms. They don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable. I think if it's normalized, if we're allowed to speak about our feelings, we would have less mental health problems. We would have less, like, our suicide rates would drop. I think it's like there's so much stigma around mental health because women are made to feel like they're over dramatizing their feelings, that they're not important, that we're just being dramatic. And then men are made to feel like they need to toughen up, swallow a bag of cement and get tougher, blah, 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 and harden up, or whatever the analogy is. Or they're made to feel like they're pussies because they can't handle their feelings and they're brought up to never cry, never show emotion, never show their feelings. Which is a crock of bullshit because people have emotions that don't need to be justified to anyone else, and you don't need to validate your feelings to anyone else. If you feel like your emotions are genuine, then you deserve as much help as anyone else. Like, it's okay to feel like shit sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that, and you don't have to justify yourself to anybody. If you are having a shit week, then you're having a fucking shit week. You shouldn't be made to feel like your feelings are wrong. You shouldn't be made to feel like you should have different feelings. I need to brush my hair more often. Your feelings are valid. Like, you really do matter. So it's time you really started acting like you do matter. This is the first time I've done my hair in 2 weeks. And just something as simple as this. This is going towards my self-love practices. Honestly, I don't spend enough time on myself. I need to make the effort to make it a daily practice. Self-love should be a daily practice. Sorry, I had to get ready really quickly because I was really running low on time. So back to what I was saying about self-love and self-care. I know I talk about this a lot, but it's actually so important, and this resonates with me so much this week. And I don't want to fabricate this perfect life on social media because it's really not. Like, I don't strive for perfection, and I don't strive to be this perfect person because that's just not who I am. I'm not a perfect housewife. I'm not a perfect mother. I'm a great mother, but I'm not perfect. And I know I've been doing a lot of vlogs inside my car, but that is because I like to use my time really efficiently. And when I sit down in front of the camera, it can take me a really long time to film. I know it's really hard sometimes. You get so caught up in life, like you're just busy in general with whatever you're doing, that you put everything else first and then you end up being a non-existent factor in your life. I'm so guilty of this, and part of this journey for me is to be real, be honest, authentic. I'm not going to bullshit about my life, and I'm not going to bullshit that my life is perfect because it's not. Everyone has their ups and downs, has their good and their bad days, bad weeks, fortnights, whatever. But self-care is so important because when you don't care about yourself and you don't make time for yourself, I said it in one of my posts, you feel unappreciated and you feel unwanted. It's like as simple as having time out in the morning to meditate, doing some things on your own, making sure you're getting time in for yourself, exercising. It doesn't always have to be materialistic things. I really need to learn to, slow down a little bit and to really start loving myself a little bit better, prioritizing myself a little bit better. I know that when I am feeling like I have been, I'm not there 100% mentally for my family, I'm not there 100% for my husband, I'm not 100% for my children, and then I end up feeling incredibly guilty. It does really affect my parenting when I am not feeling the best because they lack quality engagement, I suppose. I'm a little bit absent-minded while I'm with my family instead of being completely present and in the moment. It affects my marriage as well, the fact that I feel like this. My husband and I rarely have arguments. We do have disagreements, but we rarely argue. And on the weekend, like, we had an argument. Like, we don't yell and scream at each other, but it did end in tears for the both of us. And it was just because of the fact that we weren't communicating effectively. I wasn't meeting his emotional requirements, and he also wasn't meeting mine. We both pick our battles. If something's just not worth it, we both say, like, in our heads, oh, this isn't worth it, let's just move on. Like, we both do that. We never have arguments because we both just think it's not worth arguing. Like, he wasn't taking care of himself and I wasn't taking care of myself, and it both made us feel, you know, certain emotions, and then we weren't, you know, being 100% effective in our marriage. My best friend Jessie actually sent me a message. When you're on a plane, they tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first before you help others, because what use are you to anyone else if you are not functioning properly? Like, how are you meant to help your children? How are you meant to help your husband? But it's the same thing with life in general. You have to help yourself first before you are useful to anyone else. So thank you for joining me today on this self-love exploration. I actually feel so much better now for talking about all of that and getting it off my chest. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please take the time out this week to indulge in some self-care and some self-love. It should be a daily practice that shouldn't be neglected. I'm going to be making more of an effort to do the same, and to make sure that I'm really taking care of myself so that I can be a better mother and a better wife. Just by having this conversation, I feel lighter and airier and freer already. If that helps you and you need to have that conversation with someone, then by all means you can have that with me, or, you know, with anyone that you feel comfortable talking to about that. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Don't just wait for that one day to ask people if they're okay. People's mental health matters every single day. Make sure you're putting in the effort to make sure your friends and family are okay every day. I will see you guys all next Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks for getting ready with me.